Okay, so, been a bit of a while since I've actually done a recording of this. I did say on Twitter that there wasn't going to be a segment on Monday, but then they also turned out to just not be a segment on Tuesday. For those who haven't actually read that, I was sick with the flu over the weekend, and I am only just now almost completely over it. I still have a bit of a problem with my nose and just some kind of a chest infection of some variety, so I might sound a little bit nasally and just a slightly little bit deflated, but for the most part I'm all right. So I've got a few things that I need to address. First off is the haul of Pokemon that I've caught over the period of time between the end of the previous segment and this one, so we're going to go ahead and have a look at those. First off, I did decide to just have a quick gander in Wild Islands. Thankfully, the ground floor does indeed have Wild Squirtle, so I picked one up. And then I also grabbed this whole bunch of stuff. A lot of these are evolved stuff, so like Espeon and Umbreon are evolved. I did go and get Togetic and Togepi. I also got a whole bunch of the stuff from Mount Silver. I believe I said I was going to get some of this stuff earlier, so yeah, and then the Machamp, and then I believe also the Sandslash are both in Victory Road. I found out that Sandslash only shows up during the day unless you're going to Cerulean Cave, in which case you can get it at any time of the day. And that's another bit of bloody audio that I've got to edit out because you don't need to hear me clearing my throat. So that's all that out of the way. Those will be going into their respective slots in the box. You're probably wondering how I managed to get Espeon and Umbreon evolved, as well as Togetic. I'll be explaining that as I go through here. I'm not too sure if I've got anything else. I don't really have anything else planned for this segment, and I'd like it to be somewhat of a short one since SmackDown's in about 40 minutes. I've got to bloody cover that and whatnot, so I'm just going to basically explain what I did to evolve my happiness stuff in as I go through these idiots. The other thing I've got to, then there's another thing I've got to bloody address regarding the Pokemon League, and it's going to cause a few issues, but I'll get to that in a moment. First off, to explain how I made it easier for me to evolve, particularly Espeon and Umbreon. Something that people might take for granted nowadays is just the fact that you can look up your Pokemon stats and find exactly where you first encountered it and what level you encountered it. That mechanic was first introduced in this game, and by this game I mean Pokemon Crystal, but it wasn't something that you could look at through the stats screen like you can in this hack. Instead, they had to implement a NPC to the north of Cianwood City that would tell you this. And the only reason that this is actually of any sort of importance is because if you raise your Pokemon in the same place that you met it, or like if you first hatch the egg, then it actually gains happiness at double the rate. So all I had to do was work out a decent place where I was going to be able to hatch these Eevee eggs, and basically just raise its level up from there to increase its happiness further. And so I decided on Mount Mortar because there's a few different areas of Mount Mortar, each of which have differently leveled Pokemon. There's the second sub-level of the basement, which has like level 5s, then there's the main floor, which has like level 14s, and then there's the room that you need Waterfall to get to, which has 30 plus. So I was able to sort of just maintain a steady pace of gaining at most like one level at a time. And because of that, and because of how happiness has been buffed in this generation, every level that I gained, that my Eevees gained, from 5 until 13, it gained 10 points of happiness, where it otherwise would have only gained 5, I think. I'm pretty sure it's still like a double value, but normally if you're playing normally if you're playing just regular Crystal, it's only a +6, and that's only if the Pokemon is within a certain range of happiness. I believe that like the reason I hatched the Eevees instead of getting them from the game corner is because if I got them from the game corner, they'd start with a happiness level of 70, whereas if you hatch them from an egg, they'd have a happiness of 120. So gaining that 80 points in 8 levels gets me to 200 at level 13, and then the increase lowers from there on out. It becomes a +5 every level as opposed to a +10. So all I had to do was give it 4 more levels, and then as you can see, I evolved them into Espeon and Umbreon with pretty much the greatest of ease. Unfortunately, I found this out after I wasted a whole bunch of time evolving that Togepi, so that didn't get as much of a boost out of my strategy, especially considering I hatched it in Goldenrod, which was, yeah, a terrible idea. Don't hatch things in Goldenrod. Hatch things in a place where you can actually encounter wild Pokemon so you can get the double happiness boost. And I believe that's our first level 40 of the playthrough. Yep. And would you believe it, 40 is still nowhere near enough to take out the Elite Four. And that's, I guess, the other thing I have to address. I feel like I'm missing something else about the happiness thing. But whatever, I'll just move on. If I remember it, then I'll try to mention it in passing. Alright, so 2 more dudes here. Interesting what that dude's team was. Like, the place was called Sprout Tower, so I was expecting, obviously, if they were lower level, then they'd be Bellsprouts, but obviously now they're Victreebels. I was not expecting the Executor and the Gengar, though, either. So, that was interesting. I guess we'll stick with Stinger. He's the lowest level, and I want to try to get them up. But anyways, reason why level 40 will not be enough to get through the Pokemon League. I went up to Indigo Plateau just to sort of try out the Elite Four, just to see what levels they were packing. On the way in there, though, some dude decided to show up and basically say, okay, well, you're challenging the Elite Four, right? Well then, okay, you have to battle me because I want to test you and shit. And his lead turned out to be level 45. So, that's already bad enough as it is, and I thought to myself, okay, well, I could get my team up to 40, maybe grind up, maybe beat him, and hopefully scrape by. It shouldn't be too much higher to deal with the other Elite Four members. No, not at all. The first Elite Four members lead is a level 55 Jolteon. So, we've got some problems. This means that the Elite Four far outclass whoever I'm going to be facing as the 9th or even 10th gym leader. So it's actually made me wonder if I want to hold off on doing the Pokemon League until I get all 16 badges. The problem with that, though, is if I get all 16 badges, I'm going to have a team of Pokemon in, say, the mid-60s, mid to late level 60s, which is probably going to make the Elite Four a lot easier. I do hear that there's a big spike in difficulty partway through the Elite Four challenge, but I'm not too sure at the moment what exactly I'm going to do in regards to that. Because my plan, I had this secret plan in place for when I'd go to beat the Elite Four, and then I'd go and do the second half of the playthrough under a different, a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it a challenge condition, but it was an interesting sort of thing that I don't really want to elaborate on too much because I still might be able to adapt it into my new plans. But I don't really feel like I want to grind my entire team up to level 55 just to fight the gym and then have to just, you know, refight and just have to fight a whole bunch of gym leaders that I far out level because I went and beat the Elite Four. Plus, granted that there's that difficulty spike that I mentioned earlier, it's possible that even level 55s aren't going to be enough to get me through the Pokemon League. So, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be planning for this. I don't even, like, at the moment, I'm just slightly demotivated by just all of this, and it makes me kind of want to try to just step back from the game a bit and try to think about what I want to do next. If I do decide to go with the original plan and then just grind up to like level 55 or something and then beat the league just that way, then obviously I could stick to my original plans with my Grandmaster plan and just freaking, I don't know. But knowing that I can just go and smash out the other 8 gyms and still incorporate the plan that I had from the beginning into that, just I just don't want it to be like to a point where I am just gonna end up getting stuck on some trainer and I just can't freaking beat them, and it's just gonna piss me off to no end, and then I'm just gonna end up getting burnt out on the game, and that'll just absolutely freaking ruin everything. So that's why I'm just sort of, I want to get a segment out, which is why, I mean, I already had this planned, And I think I might have had 1 or 2 other things planned. I can't really remember. But at the rate that we're going, it's probably going to be about 20 minutes by the time I get through this, especially considering how slow it is. I would have been able to beat that other guy faster had a Fury Cutter not freaking missed. But apparently it cannot hit a overly immobile Sunflower. So, yeah, that's stupid, to say the least. I'm also considering maybe just taking maybe an extra cup. I might even... I don't know. I'm just incapable of forming a coherent sentence. But my capability of doing that is very much shot to hell by the fact that I haven't recorded in nearly a week and I've been crook. So I haven't been speaking in any sort of capacity all that much in the last week. So that's all lovely and whatnot. Thankfully my throat hasn't been acting up too terribly on me. I kind of wonder if it's just like talking too much and then I have a sore throat and then for some reason it just like makes it a bit more vulnerable to any shit that I might just inhale and then that's how I got the flu or something like that. I don't know. Meditate is not happening. I was possibly thinking of adding a physical move onto Slumber. Even if I was, there wouldn't be any real room to put Meditate on the set, so yeah, that's not happening. Alakazam, I don't really want to send in Kalima for it because I wanted, like... screw it. I want this thing to just be as non-threatening as possible, and I feel like Kalima does the job better than most. I don't understand how I outsped that Alakazam. But I will not complain about that because a one-shot of an Alakazam rendering it completely dead and useless and buried and all that sort of fun stuff is not something that you will hear me complain about. Alright. Yeah, potion, lovely. Considering that the trainers up here are basically set to be like level 35 plus, I don't really understand why they didn't change that potion into like a hyper potion or something like that. Like, it doesn't make a great deal of sense to me. Okay. I'm not too sure if that's gonna be met with a great deal of success, but more power to you. At least now I know that with that random block of silence there, I can line up the game audio as it's being picked up through the mic with the game audio actual and all that sort of stuff. Like, I've had problems with that in the past. Sometimes it goes really, really far out of sync, and sometimes it's just perfect. I don't know what it is. It's probably something to do with CPU usage, but I don't know. I wouldn't know jack shit. I only work here, so... It depresses me, actually, more than it makes me happy to see my team get to level 40, because I know that this isn't going to be enough to get through the Pokemon League. I know it sounds like I'm just complaining, but... I don't know, my weekend's been shitty. My week overall has been kind of shitty. Just from last Wednesday to this one, it's just been ugh. Uneventful and or just crappy, because of sickness. Also, why Sweet Scent? Because you're an idiot, I'm gonna assume. Noctowl, you can get the fuck out of there. Right quick. I ain't dealing with no, flying attacks. Instead, you can chill out. Oh, come on. No, no, no. I said wake up. Seriously, wake up. No, I said wake up now. No, I said wake up now. It's a rule of thumb that whenever I get put to sleep, I have to stay asleep for at least 3 turns. Now, at least Pidgeot is not going to have hypnosis. And quick attack is not threatening in the slightest. Rip! Stupid Troy. Okay, I guess Stinger will do. Elder's Relic. That must be referencing to the thing that he gives you when you beat him. Okay. Because normally, like, if you play the regular games, he'll give you the Flash HM, but I think the only actual place you can get the Flash HM just full stop is in, Kanto. From that, random dude in the Route 2 gate. And Stantless, so I don't actually have to switch, unless this thing suddenly has Psychic. It can learn Psychic. Nah, it's useless. Trying to put me to sleep. Yep. Well, actually, no. No, I'm not ready to face him. Didn't even change the frickin' levels of the wild Pokemon here. That's terrible. But yeah, as I was about to say, I am not ready to face him because I've not healed my team yet. And I'm not going to just feed them all milk. I'm going to run all the way back here. If only to add padding to the segment. I know it sounds obnoxious, but whatever. And then we're going to go and see what this Eldm'n is all about. Stinger sounds like a decent enough lead. Let's see how terrible this is. Is that an escape rope? Yep. Okay. Cool. And you are literally no different in appearance from any of the other sages. That's one thing that they changed up for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They actually added a separate class, which was basically just the same type of dude, but much elder, because Eldm'n. Come on. I'm glad to say I'm at least two-shotting everything with Strength. So Stinger's definitely more than capable of holding his own, and then a Noctowl shows up and just says basically, no, I'm going to basically threaten you. I will at least be glad if he has other grass types in his team, because the original fight with this Elder was literally just 3 Bellsprouts and a Hoot Hoot. And I believe there was literally only one other guy that had a Hoot Hoot, and then every other Pokemon you fought on a trainer's team in this was a Bellsprout. This guy at least has something unique. He has a Fortress, which dies to Fire Punch. So, yeah. No actual impact. He made me think that he was going to have a diverse team, and then he's just like, okay, now he's got 2 Victreebels. It's like, why? Slumborg literally just murders his entire team. So it should have just led with Slumborg. Yeah. So yeah, there's your Rainbow Wing. We can go grab Ho-Oh now. Camper, what in the fuck? No, fuck you. He does actually remind me, though, that the trainers do actually get, they do scale beyond 8 badges. So, I was thinking of just wiping out all of the trainers and, just grinding up, like, off them and then grind off the leader. But, yeah. Off the leader, off the wild Pokemon, yeah. I can't form any coherent sentences here, so I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here and just take a good old bloody step back and just shake this last of this bloody flu off, so yeah. I can't help but feel like this is a bit of a cop-out, but this should at least get rid of any, at least remnants of cobwebs that may have developed in the last week since I've recorded something. So, I mean, and it's at least 20 minutes, so I've done my quota. Not too sure what I'm going to be doing next time. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be doing another segment this week. I'll have to try to plan something out. I might go and evolve some more stuff, like grab some more starters and just sort of evolve those and just increase my Pokedex count. At the moment it currently sits on 208, so I've got 43 more Pokemon left there. So I'm not too far off completing that. Most of it's going to be just legendary stuff anyway and just evolving and stuff like that. I don't think I have to breed anything else. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't. So, it's just evolving stuff, finding some wild stuff in, like, Cerulean City and feeling up to catching it. And, then just smash it out. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, enough padding. See you next time for whatever it is I do whenever I decide to do it, and if I even decide on something to do.